Writing unit tests should be easy. I've used Google Test, Criterion, and minunit. Now these are perfectly fine. But let's take a look at Criterion, because it looks like it makes unit testing pretty easy. Now when you first install a new library application, you just go for it, right? Wrong. Read the docs. Let's go to Criterion, readthedocs.io, and click on Setup here. Looks like we got to build from source, just like God intended. All right, you will need some kind of compiler. Looks like GCC or CLang or whatever this slop is. Whatever? Okay. So you need all these dependencies installed. You got your C or C++ compiler, Meson Ninja, CMake, package config, libffi, dev, libgit2dev. All right, and after that, once those are installed, we're going to go ahead and clone this repo. So git clone, enter the directory. Now I'm going to change mine to not bleeding, 2.4.3, unless you want bleeding edge. I want an actual release. We need Meson setup build. That's going to make the build directory and set it up. Once that's done, Meson install -c build. There we go. And once it's installed, you have to run sudo ld config. So all the .a and .so linkings will all work, and you can run and compile with Criterion. Awesome. Now we should be able to compile with Criterion. So let's go back and go to getting started. As we can see, adding tests is done by using the test macro. That's awesome. So we just have a macro to run a test. It has a suite, which is the name of the test suite containing this test. So that means you can have multiple tests in a suite. So if you want to test a particular function or piece of your software, you would name it a suite. So you would name the suite that part. And then the name of the test, it's going to have to be different if you have multiple unit tests in that suite, obviously. So we have, let's see, assert. So if that part fails, the entire test fails any assertion, and expect are not fails of the test, execution will continue, but the test will be marked as a failure. So that's the difference. Let's test this out. So test. I'm going to call my suite basic and test 1 for the first test. And we have cr assert. So if 1 equals 1, we're going to assert that. If that's true, the test will pass. And let's go ahead and do another basic test 2. And I'm going to do cr expect 2 to equal 2. All right. Nothing fancy there. So to compile, GCC Criterion test.c, and I'm going to name mine test. And if that's good, I'm going to run test. Awesome. So we have 2 tests and 2 passing, and none are failing, and 0 are crashing. Awesome. We can also have setup and kind of teardown functions. So this will happen, setup will happen before the test runs. So the function signature is void and it doesn't take anything. So we're going to print out setup, and then we're going to have a teardown, and I'm going to do the same thing, just print teardown. Just like any other test, we have a test. We put it in a suite. Call this test, I'll call this setup teardown. And so to pass in our function to this test, it is init. As you can see from the LSP, this setup test fixture, this function, if provided, will be executed during the initialization of the test. So once this gets to this part of the test, during the initialization of this test, setup function will be called. We set that to setup without the parentheses, and the teardown test fixture is FINI, which is finally or something like that. I'm going to go with finally, even though that's not even close. All right, teardown, and then we have our testing that we would test something in here. We'll test if true is true. All right, let's recompile and run that. So as you can see, I misspelled teardown, but setup was called and then teardown. And we have 3 passing. We'll go ahead and fix that. No one saw it, right? Now we can also test on expected like failures, like if you have a seg fault, for example. So let me show you how that's done. We got our, this is actually, they call it signals. So I'll just call this test signal. So you go signal equals seg vault signal seg fault. That's the one I want. This signal here. And that should be in your signal.h header file. To trigger a seg fault, I'm going to make an array of 2. The first one is going to be 1, and the second one is going to be 2. And then I am going to attempt to put in a 3 in position, the third position. I'm already getting a warning, but this should actually pass because we told it we expected a crash or a seg fault. So if we go ahead and kind of test this one again, I'm going to say no signal, and we will see that it didn't completely crash. It was doing something internally, but we actually get an output saying that we have a crash test, and that test is failing. That's pretty useful, actually. We can also go ahead and just pre-mark a whole test as failing. Back in the basic suite, we'll say a fail, and that's CR fail. And you can put in, this test will always fail until whatever you're doing with your software is ready to actually test this feature. Or you can do, we'll get to it in a second, but skipping, we recompile and run it. Yeah, so we got what we put in there, this test will always fail. So now we have 2 failing and 1 crashing still. And maybe a better use is to do a pass, so that's CR pass, or I'm sorry, skip. Say, well, this feature is not implemented, and recompile and run. We have 6 tested, 4 passing. Well, since we're not really seeing everything here, I think it's time we talk about the CLI. So when we run our program, you can pass flags into it. Like we can pass in the version. We have the version. We can pass in verbose. And now we're going to see a lot more information. We're going to see that we're running 7 tests. I can't use my thing here. Running 7 tests from basic, fail. We have a skip. Feature's not implemented. So now we see this print statement here, basically. And then we have this crash still. So that's pretty awesome. You can also list out our 7 tests that we named. We can also go ahead and dash something like JSON, and then we set that equal to the name of where we want the output to go. So if we go to test.json, now we're going to see a lot more information. Well, basically all the information, but in a JSON file. Then we could also put it to XML if you really wanted to. Why? Ew. But there you go. You can have XML. Now there is a lot more in the command line arguments, so make sure you go and read the docs and see what else you can do. There's a lot of stuff, and it's pretty useful. All right, we should probably talk about dynamic memory allocation because they want you to use their built-in functions to do just that. We go back to our test.c file, make some room. So Criterion has built-in memory. Memory functions, CR calloc, CR malloc, and CR, obviously we have free, and we have CR realloc. Yeah, reallocate. So that's everything you would expect you would use, but they want you to use theirs. So we're going to make a struct here real quick. I'm going to have a struct called thing. Going to have a parameter, a pointer test basic memory. So I'm going to make my thing1.param. I'm going to go CR memory alloc. I want a size of int. So I made a struct thing and I use CR malloc and made it the size of an int. And then you run some tests. Then when you're done, it's CR free. We're going to use thing1 and that param. So it's going to free up that memory that we used. There it goes again. we use CR_malloc. Let's go ahead and recompile and run. And we don't have any extra fails in there. Let's run that with verbose memory. Yeah, it runs and passes. We ain't testing anything. Awesome. So that's all good. Let's do a little bit more concrete example. I made a stupid, terrible math library here. So we're going to add, subtract, and divide. Double its power. I think probably the most exciting one is going to be the square root here, because that's a little bit more exciting to try to test out and see if it works. So let's go ahead and go over to test.c. So actually we're going to have to include our math.h, not to be confused with the actual cmath. So I'm going to make a whole new suite for my math. We're going to add, we expect, we should assert that add 1 and 1 is going to equal 2. So you can see in assert we can call a function and check its value and see if that evaluates to true. All right, we got math. We're going to subtract. See our assert. Let's say subtract. We got 5 minus 10 should equal -5 if I can do math in my head. Test. What else we got? We got multiply. We're going to see our assert multiply. That 2 and 3 equals 6. So let me go ahead and recompile here. We're going to have to add in math.c. And now that we've compiled, let's do verbose. Vers. Okay. See, all of our math so far have passed. Big surprise, right? Those are pretty simple. All right, let's get to the juicy stuff. Math. Let's do the squirt of 25, right? That one's, we're going to know square root of 25 should equal 5.0 because it's a double. Let's rerun and test. And we got square root passing. All right, let's try the square root of 2. 1.41 something. Okay, let's brave search here. We got 141. Let's see if I can copy this. That's what we're expecting it to be, right? So let's see if that's going to evaluate to true. Yeah, we got a fail there. So let me go in there and just go ahead and print out our results. So double result equals square root of 2. Squared of 2. We're going to go 0.4f. We'll just give a... Actually, let's go a little bit bigger so we can see. And that was a result. And see if we're getting... It's probably rounding. Yeah, 41421. So that's what, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 digits out. So to handle that, we're going to need to use something called the epsilon of our value. So when you're testing floats and doubles and values, you want to test within a tolerance. That is called the epsilon. And that is simply because the computers are not 100% precise when it comes to things like doubles and floats and all those little decimal places, like pi, for example. We are going to have, in the assert, we are going to have a fun little function, epsilon equal. We have our, takes a FLT for float. Then we have our result, and still in there. It's not in there still. 1414. Let's go back. 2135. I'll just put that in there. 2135. But our epsilon value is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 5 digits out. Did I have everything I need for that? I think it's in one of these headers. So let's compile and see if we get any errors there. Okay, now our square root of 2 passes, because it's within the epsilon of basically 0.0001. So I could actually put this 0.01 and everything after the 421, it could be anything, as long as within that value, within that epsilon or that value of tolerance, if that makes any sense. And that is really just scratching the surface of what Criterion can do. Much like most unit testing libraries, it does a lot. It's designed to help you write better software so you don't put out things that are just slop. We already have enough of that on the internet nowadays. this video included. But be sure to check out criterion.readthedocs.io and their GitHub page. If you go to their GitHub repo, they have a bunch of different examples in their samples. I don't know why they didn't call it examples, but they have .c for C and then .cc for you C++ people. Awesome. Way to level up by doing. The code will be hosted on GitLab. Link will be in the description. And thanks for watching. Be sure to subscribe, like, share, and comment to defeat that algo monster.